So as much as I really didn't want to, I read Numbers, which is a fourth book in the Bible. So let's get on to discussing it. The first part of Numbers is really uneventful, not much happens. God basically tells Moses to take a consensus of all the people in Israel, well, the Israelites. About 660,000 Israelites are counted up who are 20 or older and are able to fight. So apart from a consensus, the only thing that really happens in the beginning portion of Numbers is God tells Moses how to lay out the Israelites in like a marching position. Then the Israelites start to complain about their troubles, which are great, and they're saying, oh God, why did you bring us out of Egypt? Because Egypt was so much better, and you've just brought us into this wilderness that sucks. So God, being the omnipotent superpower that he is, rather than helping them, decides to kill a great portion of them using fire. Which is completely justified. I mean, they are complaining. I mean, you can't complain, that's not okay, is it really? And it is at this portion of the book that the Israelites are nearing the edge of the wilderness and they're coming over to the land that the Lord has promised them. So God sends some spies from each of the tribes of the Israelites to this promised land to see what it's really like. Which kind of confused me, because if God is omnipotent and omniscient, he should know whether the chosen land really is suitable. He shouldn't have to send spies to check out whether it is or not. So the spies go to this promised land and they see that the land is amazing, the soil is fertile, but there's many powerful enemies there like the Canaanites, and there's giants there, and they're saying that the Israelites aren't strong enough to take them on. So when they come back and tell Moses about this land, they say the Israelites aren't strong enough to take on these enemies, but it's still quite a fertile and lush land. Worrying that the Israelites will not be able to take on these giants, a rumour is spread around the camp that the land is not fertile, it's not a good land at all, to prevent people from going there. This in turn makes the Israelites complain, they become angry and they start disputing. So what does God do? He punishes them. He says, right, that's it, no more complaining, your entire generation is going to die, you're all going to just be spread upon the wilderness or the wasteland, you're all going to die. I've made up my mind, there's no forgiving now, even though I'm such a loving and forgiving God. I'm not going to forgive you, all of you are going to die. Which is exactly what happens a little bit later in the book. The entire male generation of the Israelites gets spread upon the wilderness until all of them are dead, and then the next generation succeeds. Next up is a very infamous part of the Numbers. Now this story is like a gold mine for atheists because it displays how unjust God really is. A man who is collecting firewood on the Sabbath is brought to Moses and Aaron, and they actually lock him up because he's committed a complete sin for doing something on Sunday. And God tells Moses and Aaron to take him outside and for the whole community to stone him to death because he was collecting firewood on a Sunday. So then there's a rebellion involving about 250 people. It ends with the ringleaders being proven to them that God is so powerful that the ground opens up and takes them into hell. And then the other 250 later on are killed with a pillar of fire, I think, it's something like that. But they're all killed, yeah, basically. Rebellion, no. So right now it's not going too good for God or Aaron or Moses because the Israelites are starting to rebel, they're starting to complain, they don't have trust in God anymore. So then not much happens for a bit later on, other than God killing Aaron, because Aaron made a small mishap and mistrusted in God for one part of the rebellion. So, yep. Aaron's dead, and he promises to kill Moses later on as well, but not for now. The next generation of Israelites has a victory over the Canaanites, which is one of the enemies in the Promised Land. So they start moving into the Promised Land, and they're taking over territory, which I think is completely unjustified. So then some of the people in this Promised Land start getting worried. They're like, oh, these Israelites are coming in, they're starting to kill all of the people here, they're starting to take over territory, and they keep on expanding. So a king sends a messenger to this man, his name is Balaam, I think. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And this messenger says to Balaam, could you please curse these Israelites for me so that I can win this battle? And Balaam basically says to the messenger, oh, stay the night and I'm going to consult God and he's going to tell me what to do. God tells Balaam that he has a blessing over the Israelites, so Balaam is not to curse the Israelites. Instead, he's to go over these men in kind of secrets and then bless them later on. Then the most random story happens, just like a few verses afterwards. God says, oh, get ready to go with these men, but only say what I tell you to. So then Balaam goes with the men on his donkey, and then the angel of the Lord appears on the road, and the donkey is like distressed, and it starts like walking around and like not going where Balaam tells him, so he beats the donkey. Then the donkey sort of goes back on the right path, and then he sees the angel of the Lord again, and the donkey freaks out again, so Balaam beats him again. And then the third time the angel of the Lord appears, the donkey just freaks out and just runs into a field and crushes Balaam's leg against a wall, and Balaam beats him again, and then God gives the donkey the power of speech. So then the donkey says, why are you beating me? I haven't done anything wrong to you. And then Balaam replies, oh, I don't know, I suppose you haven't done anything wrong to me. That's a bit, no. Hi. If your donkey starts talking to you, even though God gave the donkey the power of speech, which you don't know yet, you don't reply to your donkey. It's talking. It's a talking donkey. So that random story had no purpose in the Bible, but oh well, whatever, we'll just brush it aside. So then when Balaam goes with this messenger and this king tells him, oh, curse the Israelites, look, you can see them there. Balaam starts blessing the Israelites, and the king is like, what are you doing? Stop blessing them. And Balaam says, no, I'm just doing what the Lord is telling me to. And although Balaam keeps on blessing the Israelites, the king keeps on saying, okay, please just curse them this time. And Balaam is like, oh, okay, I'll just do what God tells me to. And he keeps on blessing the Israelites, and this king basically just tells them to go away because he just keeps on blessing them rather than cursing them. So then that's pretty much the end of Numbers. They move into this promised land and they take over territory, and then they start setting up shelters, and then God gives Moses some regulations on, the sacrificing, all that weird stuff. That book was kind of boring, although the thing about the donkey was really funny. I kind of laughed quite a lot when I read it. And the thing about the firewood on the Sabbath is a perfect example of how the Bible is kind of cherry-picked for morality. So, thanks for watching. Goodbye.